GM, when Pedro and Tiffany of Solana Foundation asked me to speak here, I was finishing the last episode of season 2 of solo leveling. And then I thought, hey, why don't I just talk about solo leveling as a founder? Right? And then that's why the topic of NIGAT is just a placeholder that I forgot to update. So what is my leveling? It's like meme coin, and meme strategy. Of course, first thing first, GM. Yeah, although it's an afternoon, but it's always GM in crypto space. So back in 2008, my 4 co-founders and I started a small company called NIGAT, which is a platform for people to sharing funny pictures. At the time, people didn't call it meme. It's just funny pictures. Because meme refer to all these like insider pictures on internet forums, on 4chan, on 2chan in Japan. Basically, people just call them like funny pictures. They are not called memes. And then at the time, we thought that, okay, maybe we can just create a website for people to share those pictures. Because back in the days, that was like 17 years ago, people were still using AOL Messenger, MSN Messenger to share funny pictures online. And every time you have to wait for it to upload, and then you click send, it takes a long time. That's why we thought, okay, maybe creating a website can work. That's why we created that website, and then we figured out our company mission. We want to make the world happier. And that was already like almost more than a decade ago. With NIGAT, we are quite lucky, right? Because in 2011, we joined 500 Startups. We are the first company from Asia to join them. And then we raised a small seed funding, 2.8 million from US investors. And then in 2012, we joined Y Combinator. Funny story, one of our batchmates is actually Brian Armstrong from Coinbase. If I listened to him and bought Bitcoin at the time, I wouldn't be speaking to you here right now. Yeah, but one thing that we are still quite proud of is we literally have been sharing memes before Satoshi created Bitcoin. Fast forward to 2022, that means like 3 years ago, I fell down the rabbit hole of NFT. That was a bit quite late already, right? Because the heyday of NFT was in 2020 and 2021. Yeah. But then at that time, I thought, oh shit, this is great, right? Because at the time, I didn't understand why people would spend so much money to buy a JPEG. Right? But after I bought my first JPEG, right, then I immediately understand why people would love that. Because at the time, Twitter, at the time they still call it Twitter, I started to support NFT as a PFP. Instead of buying a Lamborghini, where only a few hundred people can see your expensive car every single day, you can spend thousands of dollars to buy a JPEG and let the whole world know that you are actually rich. Right? And that was the moment that I understand, oh shit, people spend so much money, right, on one hand to join the community. On the other hand, it's also a way to flex their identity, to flex their vanity, to flex their wealth. Right? That's why I spent around 3,000 ETH to buy all these random overpriced JPEG. At the time, ETH price was like $4,000. Yeah. So, and then I joined all these communities. And all these projects, they keep mentioning that, oh, we are community first, we are community first. But how come all these founders, right, they only show up, right, before the mints, right? After the mints, you never see them, right? Then I was like, shit, if these guys are building communities, then maybe I could build my own communities on Web3 as well, because we have been building communities for over a decade already. That's why in June 2022, right, 2 weeks after Luna crash, yeah, we launched our first NFT. It's called You the Real MVP, which is a tribute, right, to Kevin Durant's MVP speech, yeah, when he first got the MVP. And then after that, we launched a free mint called The Potatoes, right, which is the highest price free mint NFT after CryptoPunks, right, at the time. Yeah, I think right now it's still pretty high. Yeah, and then after FTX crash, then we launched our main collection, right? It's called The Captains, which is also from a meme, right? It's from the movie Captain Phillips. There's a pirate say that, okay, look at me, I'm the captains now. Right? So basically, we launched 3 NFT collections, and then we thought, okay, NFT is great for building the community, but maybe there's a better way to distributing the value. That's why we launched our token, right? It's called meme coin. We literally call the token meme coin. and the ticker is a meme, right? Because what's better, right, than calling a token that we have been sharing, that there was funny pictures all these years, right? And then we were lucky to get onto the Binance launch pool, and then we were the biggest launch pool project of 2023, and then we launched a token. And then fast forward, right, like to this year, in the beginning of this year, right, we acquire a public company in Hong Kong, and we name it Meme Strategy. Right? The stock code is 2440. I'm not asking you to buy, right? But the stock code is 2440. Yeah. Of course, from the name, right, you know that the inspiration was from MicroStrategy. We thought, okay, people are buying Bitcoin, right? Public companies are buying Bitcoin. In some ways, Bitcoin is the biggest meme coin, right? Because other than the so-called digital gold narrative, most people don't think Bitcoin is very, very usable. So I thought, okay, why don't we create a public company, right, so that we can get institutional investors, so that we can get normal retail investors to buy meme coin, right? Can we become the bridge of Web2, of capital market and meme coins, right? Yeah, that's why we execute this vision. Yeah, and we fully acquired the company a month ago, and then we plan to start our execution, our so-called meme coin strategy, right, in the coming months. Right? And of course, one of the steps is, maybe we should accumulate some Solana, right? That's why I come here, right? Because at the end of the day, I think if you look at the meme coin activities, I think Solana is one of the most active chains of meme coins. So after almost 2 decades of building community companies, what are my takeaways, right? What are some things that I think is worth, I wouldn't say sharing, but at least worth talking about? Number one, culture is a verb. A lot of the people in the space, they talk about culture, right? For meme coin guys, they talk about culture. For NFT guys, they talk about culture. And most of the time, they think that, I'm the OG, right? OG should be respected. But the thing is, culture is a moving word, right? Culture, like 2 years ago, is totally different from cultures today, right? So if we actually are a guy who understands culture, we always should, on one hand, respect the OGs, respect the old culture, but at the same time, we also have to update ourselves, because at the end of the day, culture is dynamic. Culture is a verb. Second, community is a bitch, right? All these communities members here, right? All these communities members, right? Before the token launch, before the TGE, all these community members, right? Before the NFT mints, but they are gone. The moment that your token is launched, the moment that your token is down bad, right? Even the best founders on earth, right? If the token price is down bad, they are called scammers. They're called ruggers, right? So community is a bitch, but at the end of the day, you love that bitch. Because without that badge, there's nothing that you can build, right? Because at the end of the day, I think Web3 is all about community. It's almost like it's very annoying on one hand, but it's something that you love on the other hand. It's kind of like how I see my wife. Yeah. Number 3, challenge is growth. This is a cliche, but people understand that in Web3, it's like challenge every day. It's like the worst is yet to come. When is the next chain kind of got stuck? When's the next chain that next protocol that got all the funds stolen? When is my hardware wallet get compromised? Even though it's my by my stupid moves, right? But I always blame, Ledger, maybe you get compromised, right? Instead, I click the wrong link, right? But on the other hand, we also have to understand that challenge, be it building a company, right? Be it growing in life, right? It's actually an opportunity for us to grow, right? So embrace the challenge is something that we need to do as a founder or even as a human being. The last thing, people talk about community a lot, people talk about culture a lot. The other C that we don't talk about enough is actually commitment, right? Most of the founders, right, they just gave up, right? When the token launch didn't go well, right? Most of the so-called community members, they just gave up the moment that the token is down bad, right? But if a random guy from Hong Kong can build a company, right, for over 17 years, right, by just sharing funny pictures, maybe we all can be more committed, because without commitment, nothing great can be built. So culture is a verb, community is a badge, challenge is growth, and commitment is underrated. Last thing, and this is something that I think I would be the first. It's the first guy to share a Bible verse at a Solana crypto event. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Right? Whatever you are doing, let's keep leveling up every single day. Thank you.